like to call the meeting to order. Mr. Karati, roll call, please.
Mr. Accomando,
Present.
Mrs. Borelli,
Present.
Mr. Buffy, Mr. Havison, Mr. Quinn,
Present.
Ms. Sanchez,
Present.
Mrs. Scanapico,
Present.
Mrs. Zottarelli,
Present.
Mr. Geary.
Present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all members of the Board of Education and to the Bergen Record in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, 1975. Can I have a motion to open the meeting to the public for agenda items only?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Residents are requested to state their names, addresses, and subject matter. In the event it appears the public comment portion of the meeting may exceed 45 minutes, the presiding officer may limit each statement made by a participant to 5 minutes duration. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged and will not be responded to by the board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded by the laws of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comment made by the members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments, and be aware that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. Does anyone wish to address Mr. Rodriguez?
Good evening. Omar Rodriguez, 275 Madison Avenue, longtime taxpayers and resident outside. And first and foremost, I came here a couple days ago. I didn't arrive on time, so I wasn't able to make my remarks. And of course, the discerning of the new members, I was here, but it was not the proper time to question some of the topics that I bring it up tonight. But I know that we're going to speak about the agenda now, and that's what I will do. Through the chair, first and foremost, to the new members, I hope there is no more status quo. Yes, sir, no, man. That got to change. The taxpayers, the parents, and the students deserve better education and actually more expenses bringing into the classroom and not into the pocket of a few. Those days got to be over, and we're going to be here to check the spending. And when I say spending, some of
Mr.
them,
Rodriguez,
yes,
the agenda items?
yes, and it goes with the audit. That's what I'm referring to.
Okay, all right.
And actually, I will, in the second part, I will bring it up some of misstatements, but now going to the agenda, I would like to briefly point it out to number 3. Number 3 under business and board. And I will just read it, then you can answer all you want. Approved by Brown & Brown as the district insurance broker of record for health benefits. From February 2015 to June 2016, I'm going to request the board either to just do it up to June of this year, 2015, and open the bids, or just to rescind this, because I don't think that this is fair and open. You will be told tonight that just because they got a state contract, that we can go out without bidding. That is wrong, totally wrong. That's not what we the taxpayers want. We want the best prices, the best company, not just someone that knows some other people. That's wrong.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
We did screen a number of insurance brokers.
It was not, my understanding is not fair and open. You just go into a state contract. That should be, right now, as every other professional is gonna be done by next year. Now that before the elections were in May, professionals were picked from July to June. Now the elections are in November, so the professionals should be picked from January 1st through December 31st. Why these companies not being allowed to do the same route as any other professionals? Why to extend it up to June 30, 2016? Why not just to let them compete like anyone else in a yearly basis? That is my point. Even if you decide to go with this company, you shouldn't be allowed to go for such a long period of time up to 2016. Just to make it as equal as every other professional. That thing doesn't fly with me. I don't care if it's a state, that they have a state, as a state contractor, it should be open, publish it, on the same period of time, 1 year for everybody, if that is the case, that every single professional are going. Another thing on the agenda, let's return to the agenda. Personnel, number 4. That sounds fishy to me, very fishy. How could it be that we are going to approve a revised start date for this name from September 11, 2014 through January 5, 2015? That's not a good practice. The day has passed. So we're going to hire someone that already skipped the day? Because that's what the language is telling me. The person never started in September. But now it's going to start now, and it's going to be a 90-day trial basis? That's a wrong practice. Whoever doesn't take the job for X, Y, Z reasons should just let go. And you know what? I don't want to go too much into personal, but the language right here is telling me that the person never started. So if someone don't want the job, let somebody else.
How do you know that's the case, Mr. Rodriguez?
Because right here is telling me January 5th. We're not on January 5th. This guy right here says we'll be on a 90 days. It didn't say that it is or it was.
I just don't understand how you know he didn't take the job.
The language right here is telling you that he was supposed to start on September 11th. And he's going to go into a trial basis. Either whoever wrote the language is not proper, but what I'm reading right here is that the person is just going to start now. Right or wrong? Well, if you don't want to discuss personal, then my point.
I addressed all these Monday night at the meeting, and I will address them again when we make our motions.
All right. Then finally, right now I will reserve most of my comments for later. But on the agenda again, on the last paragraph, last page, number 13, it says that some of the documents will become public once you guys go into closed session. Once you go into closed session, some of those documents by law might become public and might not become public. My question is, and it comes because of this. Sutter Brook ranks at one of the lowest school districts in the state of New Jersey. Very poor. Very poor. And I said at the very beginning that we need to send better schooling and curriculums, and we have to improve and be on the top, not on the bottom. Not too long ago, Paramus, the school board, didn't renew the superintendent contract. It was a 3-year, and he failed on 1 out of 5. Sutter Brook is right here, Paramus is right here, but they still are not happy. You know why? Because they want to be on the top. We are right here.
We're making many of the changes to get there.
That
Mr.
is great.
Rodriguez.
That
It's
is
not gonna
great to
happen
hear.
overnight.
That is great to hear. I will leave this. But whatever happens in the future, we got to learn. When someone is on a trial basis, 5 years is too long, too damn long. 3 years is more than enough, like any other school district. And what I heard last time, it hurt me because it affects my intelligence to say that the county checked the contracts. That's just a formalism. Whatever you guys decide, that's what it goes. But going to this paragraph, it says that documents will become public. My question is, will the evaluation of the superintendent will become public or never will become public? Do you know? Through the chair, can I ask the attorney?
You could ask the attorney, you could ask.
No, through the chair, that's what I'm
Yes,
saying.
you can.
Can I ask, can I have an answer on that one? That's all I need to know, and I'll finish with that.
I'm sorry, what's the
The
question?
contract becoming public, is that
The
what you're asking?
contract is.
No. The contract, I have the contract with me. But it's an annual evaluation of the superintendent that the board members will have to define the type of job that he's doing. At any given point, that evaluation becomes public or is always just part of the personal file and will never become public? That is my question. Through the chair, I would like to ask the
I don't have the
attorney.
answer to that.
I'm
I don't
actually
know.
not certain of the answer, and I will have an answer at the next meeting.
Okay,
I'm not certain.
that's fine with me. I'm not just going with tonight's agenda, what it says on the last page. Thank you, and I'll be back. Thank you very much.
Anyone else wish to be heard? Okay, may I have a motion to close the meeting to the public at this time?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Karati?
Thank you, President Garrick. This evening, under my report, I have the December minutes as stated, and checks and financial reports.
Motion to accept?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Roll call.
Mr. Accomando,
Yes.
Mrs. Borelli,
Yes.
Mr. Bufy,
Yes, but I'll be abstaining from number 47159.
Mr. Havison,
Yes, abstaining from 4A, A, and B.
Mr. Quinn,
Yes.
Ms. Sanchez,
Yes.
Mrs. Scanapieco,
Yes, but I'll be abstaining from check number 47164.
Mrs. Ottarelli,
Yes.
Mr. Garrick.
Yes, but I'll be abstaining from check number 47165.
Okay, and that concludes my report.
Okay. Student representative, Dave?
So, good evening, board members, faculty, parents, students, and members of the community. Our schools have been very busy lately. At Franklin School, the student council, who's advised by Ms. Blankenhorn and Ms. Kugler, they coordinated the bear hugs for the holidays. And through December, they collected teddy bears and other stuffed animals and donated them along with holiday cards to Bergen Region Medical Center. At their December meeting, the student council decided the theme for the December 19th Spirit Day, which was Pajama Day, and students arrived to school in their most comfortable pajamas. The National Parent and Teachers Association awarded a $1,000 grant to the Franklin School PTA. The Franklin School was the sole school in New Jersey to be selected as an award recipient and one of only 50 schools chosen nationwide. The National PTA is providing the grants to select schools that have agreed to participate in Take Your Family to School Week. The PTA will host 2 events during the week of February 16th to the 20th. The events will focus on the theme Supporting Student Success. It's to promote family engagement solutions that are proven to help prevent the risks associated with high school dropouts. In sports, our girls basketball team started the season on a streak of 5-1. They had performances by Brianna Brooks, who scored 30 points and had 16 rebounds. Sherry Smedley scored 24 points and had 8 rebounds. The wrestling team split their opening weekend with a loss to Garfield and a win over Hawthorne. This Friday, there's a home wrestling match versus Hasbrook Heights at 7 p.m. And that same night, there's a boys basketball game against West Caldwell at 7. And you're all invited to attend. So lately, there's an ever-present theme of goals made in order to prepare students for their future and their careers. For instance, our SAT prep class in Salbrook is available for high school students. It's a full-year course where students are introduced to SAT content and test-taking strategies and techniques. It's taught by Mrs. Leibowitz and Mrs. Linzetti, and students can improve their scores throughout the year. For those planning to enter the field of medicine, the Science Honor Society, run by Ms. Selma, hosted a former Salbrook High School graduate of 2005. His name was Sai Arwand, and he shared details of his trip through high school and into college, and then into medical school. I was present. It was a very informative talk, and I think specifically it'll help greatly in students' decisions whether they want to go to medical school or not. Lastly, the student council is working hard. We recently presented a proposal to the administration regarding student omissions for final exams. It was suggested that if students maintain a high enough GPA, they can then have the option to be omitted from their final exams. So we're waiting for a response, and we'll have to deliberate more on specific details. And I think it serves as a great example of our students and student government working hand in hand with the administration and the faculty. So that's about it.
Thank you, Dave.
All right. Thanks to our students for your patience. We have our chorus here tonight with Mrs. Verost. I know Mr. Gelber is going to give them an introduction and talk about what's happening, but I really want to recognize them. They were in Florida recently. Mr. Gelber was a part of that trip. He's going to talk about it. You're going to get to see them perform. If you don't know Mrs. Verost, I just want to make this one comment before Mr. Gelber comes and introduces them. But of all the people I've ever seen working with students in anywhere I've ever been, I have to say Mrs. Verost is among the most passionate and sincere and caring and genuine people that I have come across. She really loves what she does, and it shows every day. And I think that's why our students in our chorus are able to produce really just such outstanding work. So thank you, Mrs. Verost, for everything that you do. And Mr. Gelber, at that point, I'll let you introduce them.
Thank you, Dr. Katz. Members of the board, thank you for having us this evening. It's a great opportunity. I supervise many different areas at the high school. One that I'm proud to supervise all areas, but I'm always impressed with the work of Ms. Verost, Mr. Ortega, the various departments. To observe the fine practical and performing arts is always a pleasure. I walk down the music hallway every day. I love to hear the melodies, the songs that the students are learning. It's just not your traditional carols. They learn high-end music from different genres, different eras. Ms. Verost does a really great job with the students. I had the pleasure in December to accompany them down to Disney World, where we went to the candlelight processional at the Epcot Center. The students got to work with LeVar Burton, who narrated the evening. They sang about 13 to 14 songs under Ms. Verost's leadership. She's definitely passionate about everything she does. As I walk the building in the evenings to see the different activities going on, Ms. Verost is here many nights, 7, 8 o'clock in the evening, prepping the students for that trip, prepping them for the concert that we had in the end of December, the holiday concert. When I was down with Disney, I always think I have a little bit of energy, but 9, 10 o'clock at night, Ms. Verost is pulling the kids aside to have little rehearsals for their performance over at the Epcot Center. So Ms. Verost is always working with the students. They do a great job, and I'm pleased to have Ms. Verost come up this evening and talk about the pieces that the students are going to share with us this evening that did come from the candlelight processional that we went to in December. Ms. Verost.
Are you sure? Okay. You know, why don't you put the guys behind the girls in front? You did the concert. The concert we had.
Oh
the name of that piece was O Magni Mysterium. The Choraliers are a select choir. They're part of the larger choir. The choir is about 70. Actually, we've gained 5 new members since the winter concert. So we can't take any more because we have no more robes. But it's nice. We have 75 people singing with us for the spring, which is great. Choraliers meet on Wednesday nights, so it kind of was convenient that we got to do this before rehearsal. When we went to Disney World back in December, which I'd like to, on behalf of the choir, thank the Board of Education for approving that trip. It was the experience of a lifetime. They did perform with the symphony orchestra under the direction of a professional conductor, and sang with about 170 other voices. They learned 14 pieces of music in 11 weeks. Not an easy thing to do, on top of the music that this group learned. This group also goes out. They sang at Riverside Square. They've sung at the nursing homes. They're sort of our ambassador for music tour. And I wonder if I can ask a couple of course members that went on the trip. Now, not everybody went on the trip. We had 36 students on that trip out of the 70 Voice Choir. Of those of you that went on the trip, was there anything in particular about the experience, particularly the performance experience, that you might like to share? Natalie, maybe?
Okay. Well, it was really great meeting people from all around the country. I met people from Georgia and upstate New York. It's great to have all like the choir nerds together, and you just like you bond kind of like automatically. And it was yeah. Even we were waiting online to go in to sing, and just meeting them was really cool. Yeah.
Being an honorary Disney employee was pretty we were honorary Disney cast members for the day. I think it's important to note too that although they rehearsed constantly, they only had one rehearsal with the conductor. They had 45 minutes worth of rehearsal with the conductor. So the first time they sang with all of those 170 voices was 45 minutes before they went out on stage. And they never heard the orchestra until they heard that first note. What was that like? Yeah.
That was pretty brilliant.
One of our students who happens to be a wheelchair bound is one of the vision students. I saw her visually almost jump out of her chair from the first hit. She was just so startled from the sound, because it's an amazing experience to sing with symphony orchestra, and an experience that most people will never get, and you did. So anybody have anything else to say? It was a great trip.
I think going into it, we've always practiced together, but we went there and we was, just like Santali was saying, we've been with people from all around the country we've never seen before, never spoke to, and it was just the fact that we've all been rehearsing the same music, and as soon as we all sang, we all knew exactly what to do, even though we've never met them. I think that was such a cool feeling.
One other thing too, specific to Saddlebrook, I received more compliments about this group. Being a park, and somebody say, I just want to tell you how nice your kids are. They were just so good. Or in the hotel, how nice, how polite your kids were. Bus transportation, how nice, how sweet, So they represent Saddlebrook very well. And we should be very proud of them. School, their parents, everybody. I know I was. We're going to do one piece from the Candlelight. Of course, we don't have a symphony orchestra with us. We don't even have to take the accompaniment. We're going to sing George of the World for you a cappella.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy, 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 joy to the world, the Savior reigns, and there their songs and joy, to fields and floods, with singles and play, to keep the sounding joy, to keep the sounding joy, to keep
more students today, because they're at a track meet. So they're involved in a lot of things. Also, Jacob Corbo and Mia Giordano, who's not here tonight, and Brendan Riley, who's also not here tonight, were accepted to Vernon County Chorus. They'll be performing this Sunday. So thank you very much for having us. We appreciate it. No buses broke down, not a bus, not anything. So now I know how to find them. It's not me, and it's not Roger. Thank you.
I didn't even think of that, John. We are too.
So I know as our students are walking out, just before you go, thank you very much. And I know Mrs. Verose said how well you represented us in Florida, and please know that I know she's told you this over and over and over again, but how proud everybody is here in Saddlebrook of you, and how much we really appreciate your work. And it's great to hear what that trip was like for you, because that's the kind of experiences that we're hoping to provide. So thank you, and again, thanks to Mrs. Verose for your time tonight.
Thank you.
All right. For the second half of the presentation tonight, Mr. Lawler will be starting. We have spent, and I say we because it has been a team effort, but really Mr. Lawler and Mr. Gelber have led a complete revitalization, maybe is the way to call it, of our program of studies here in the high school. So they're going to share that with you tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Katz, and I actually wish I went first because that's a very tough act to follow. But a great, example of why we need to support the arts, our band, our music programs, our visual and performing arts, because you can really see what a fantastic job they do, and it's really uplifting to hear the students be able to do something like that. But again, welcome to our new board members. We look very much forward to working with you as we continue to improve our educational programs. Mr. Gelber and I are going to pass out copies that we produced for you of our new program of studies.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So this process began earlier in the year, and Mr. Gelber will spend some time to discuss that process, but we really wanted a way to promote our vision for the changes to our educational programs at Saddlebrook High School. Last week, along with our guidance department, we spent time with grades 8 to 11 to really discuss the process and opportunities that our students will have as they begin to prepare for registering for their 2015-2016 school year. If you could turn to, I believe it's page 3, where you see the introductory vision statement. Page 4, excuse me. When I stood before you last month, we talked about some of our new programs and our CTE pathways. In addition to that, and our goals are really trying to provide a personal experience for our students in their education. We're developing career tracks. We've told our students, we got their feedback and what they're interested in doing after high school, what can we do here while they're in high school to help prepare them. Students expressed interest in going into business. They expressed interest in law enforcement. They expressed interest in going into mass communication and healthcare fields. So what we're doing next year is taking those courses that align with those career goals, pairing them with all the extracurricular activities that we have, and David spoke of the Science Honor Society being one of them, along with internship opportunities, and bringing in guest speakers, and pairing them with an advisor, one of our teachers that will help guide these students and mentor them, and that as these students who work with other students with common interests will begin learning the skills and the content they need for these careers here at Saddlebrook High School, so that when they leave, they are prepared. If they want to continue into college, into those fields, and be really exposed to it before they even graduate. So we're really proud of this document. Again, we encourage all our parents to go through it with their children, really see what we have to offer here moving forward. It really helps clarify our programs. It talks about some of the new courses we're offering next year, like the AP World History, AP Environmental Science, and we really are trying to follow our programs as we move forward. We're really excited about it. Mr. Gelber will tell you a little bit about how this process came about. And again, a real good example of the collaborative leadership that we have now and how it really brought in all different stakeholders to produce this document. Mr. Gelber?
Thank you. The program of studies that you have before you was definitely a collaborative process, as Mr. Lawler pointed out. It all started back in September when I came aboard. I said I want to learn more about Saddleburg. I know, I'm learning about the school. I want to learn more about the programs that we have. I was visiting with teachers, visiting with the students. I made it a point to meet with every single senior that's in this building to ask them about their experience in Saddleburg for the last 4 years, specifically in the high school. What did you like? What was great about Saddleburg High School? What were you missing? Is there anything that you were missing? And it's funny, most of the students, what they brought up were, or it's like, I'm taking these business classes, but I really want to be connected to a internship. I want to be connected to real life experiences. So I'm thinking, how can we better do this here in Saddlebrook? Mr. Lawler came up with the career tracks. That was early on. He had this vision of the career tracks. Not just Mr. Lawler's vision. It's now a shared vision with our staff. We put it out to the staff. We shared it with the staff members. And staff members come forward. Mr. Gelber, I really am, I'm a graphic artist by trade before I was a teacher. I'd like to bring this to students. How can I do that? How can you help me do that? And, working with the teacher, Mr. Lawler shared with you a few board meetings ago, back when I was in Disney World with the choir, what our CTE pathways were. And that's in the book. So when you go through the program of studies, you'll see in specific sections, such as our graphic design department or art department, you'll see that it's a CTE track. So that's how we're communicating that to students, the parents, and the community alike. It's now in the program of studies, and students can see, if you really like graphic design, you come in as a 9th grader, you take that course. If you still like graphic design, because we all experience it in our lives when we go to college and say we want to be let's say a doctor. You go through the first 2 years of the program, you're not interested anymore, you want to go to business. So that's what we're trying to expose students to at the secondary level. Come on in, take the graphic design class, see what it's all about, get your feet wet, explore it, work with someone that came from that career field. They take that course, they like it, now we offer them years 2 and 3, where there's a series of courses that they can take. In years 3 and 4, that's where the internships, the job shadowing comes in, bringing guest speakers in, taking those field trips to further expose the students. So we're giving the students what they ask for. Working with the seniors, that's what they're asking for, we're giving it to them. So as you go through the book, you'll see there's a big focus on the career tracks and the CTE programs. So when I'm gathering my information about Saddlebrook High School and the different programs, I said, every high school has it. We all have to have a program of studies, the best practice. Where's our program of studies? I was digging. It was hard to find, but it was buried. It was on the school's website. You want to show the former program of studies? This course description book, 2014, so that's what we had going into this school year. As we go through it, all the departments are listed. English department, let's keep going. See English, SAT prep. Our next department is English, a lot of classes. Then we go right into mathematics. What's missing from this program of studies, or the course description booklet as it's formally called, was there's no sequence of courses that students can take. It's really not defined for students. Working with the students, they know, I'll take algebra, take geometry, but what's next? So that's what we set out to do in this book, and we communicated that with the students last week when we worked with the 8th through 11th graders. We presented this book to them. We showed them where it is. If you go to our website, is that link still up, Mr. Lawler? If you go to our main Saddlebrook High School Middle School webpage, it's right up here, Saddlebrook High School Program of Studies for next school year. So it's visible to the community. And working with the students over this past week, they've come in, they said, sat down with my parents, I reviewed the program of studies. I asked them questions, Mr. Gelder. They asked me questions. If it's a question about a program, I'll share with them all the information they need to know. But I try to connect them with the faculty advisor that's really going to be running that program so they can forge that relationship with them and start that early. So that's where it is. We're very visible. It's right out there on the high school's website. We're duplicating the program studies on demand, so if students need a hard copy of it, they can get that. If you look at the cover for this program of studies, talking about a collaborative process, when this all started, and I looked at this former document that I just shared with you, I went to the teachers. I said to the teachers, I need your help on this. You know, this is our vision. This is what we're creating. This is all following what Mr. Lawler shared with you on our first day back to school this year in the opening day staff meeting. They bought in and they said, can I revamp the course description for the course that I've been teaching for the last few years? I said, absolutely. I gave the teachers the opportunity in a month and a half to actually revamp their course descriptions, and they did just that. They came forward and said, can I have more details? Exactly just the paragraph. Teachers went all out with this. We revamped all the course descriptions, keeping the curriculum the same. Our K-12 supervisor was constantly examining curricula and updating them. But the course descriptions were able to change. We changed them. And we put them into this new program of studies that we're proud to share with you this evening. Can you go back to the former cover, Mr. Lawler? If you don't mind. That was the cover that was on our program of studies. And I know it seems like a small point, the cover. But we want it to be a collaborative process. We have a lot of great programs here. We have the arts, you just heard the choir sing. We have a computer applications course, which next year is becoming our graphic design pathway. Kids were learning, as I was observing one of the teachers, I noticed that the students were learning how to create covers. So what great opportunity to take a skill that the students are learning in their computer applications course and bring it to life. So I said to the teacher, I had a little post-conference with her, and I said, how would you, I know it fits right in, would you be comfortable with the students having a competition in your class, working on the skills on creating a cover, coming up with our cover design for the program of studies? That would be pretty neat. I went into the class, I did a little presentation with the teacher, we did a co-teaching lesson. It's pretty neat. I shared with them program of studies from other high schools across the state and from across the country. And I shared with students what a program of studies are. I said, do we have one of those here? Can we see it? I said, it's coming. You'll see it in December and January, and we delivered it to them. I said, you're going to be a part of this process. And I said to the students, we want you to create a program of studies cover design. Presented it to them. I gave them a week. They worked on it. Mr. Lawler and I went in, observed the class, and we had them present to us their cover designs. And we were proud of all the cover designs. They were really good. We couldn't pick the best one. We just couldn't do it. So we picked the 4 best designs. We brought the kids into the office. We talked to them about what we liked about their designs, what might be improved, how we can fit the design into our school's vision. And the students came up with this. It was the merging of the 4 top cover designs. And this was a project right from our computer applications course. I'd like to meet, in the weeks ahead as this document gets out in more hands. I'm planning on meeting with our graphic design teacher and talking about maybe this could possibly be a project, a staple project in our introductory level graphic design course each year. So every year, as we continually refresh curricula, as we continually refresh our course descriptions, we can put out a new cover design every year and get the kids involved with that process. So this is a Wordle. It's not just a Wordle that you could just create and throw words into. The words that you see in this falcon, which the students created, in Adobe, they had to actually design a falcon. They drew the falcon out on the computer. It was all through the computer. It wasn't just clip art that they took from the internet. They drew their falcon. They took the key words, the key courses that we'll be running next year, and filled the falcon with the words that define the courses that we'll be teaching next year at this school. So that's the history behind the cover design. The students that comprise that team have been identified in our table of contents. We go through the document. The students that were a part of that are all identified right where the table of contents is. So this is the process that we went through to make the program of studies. This is definitely a document that we want to continually update. This is not just Saddlebrook High School program of studies from now to forever. Every year we will update this as we continually examine our courses and update and refresh them. This document will be refreshed each year as we go into the scheduling season, which always takes place December and January is when we start registering students for classes for the following school year. That was the progression of our program of studies.
Does anybody have any questions? Any questions?
Just through the chair, my daughter came home with this the other day, and she was so excited. She hasn't stopped talking about it, and she actually said she wishes she was a freshman, which she's a junior, halfway through junior year. They're usually saying, I can't wait to graduate, and to hear her wish that she was just starting over, just because of this, really shows how much this kind of stuff affects our students. So I thank you. I know this was probably a huge undertaking to revamp and create all of this, but as a parent and a board member, really thank you. Really, it's nice to see kids excited about what to take next year because there's so much to choose from now.
I'd just like to thank you for all your hard work. I've worked on curriculum as a teacher. I know it's not easy, and the things that have been done in the last year are just amazing. I just want to thank you so much. Thank you.
Through the chair, I'd like to say this is a great job. Coming from college, this is something that you do very similar with the course books, and like it does vary every year, every semester. And you look through the book, it's exactly what it would be like, what courses they offer, especially at the school level here. But even in college, I know it was a big transition for me. Like the guidance counselor isn't really there for you when you're in college. There's so many thousands of kids. This at least ease a transition on coming from high school to college. Great job.
All right, well, I'd also like to thank you, and obviously kind of watched you go through this whole process. And 18 months ago when we started to really talk about the need to develop a vision for our school, and we've always worked with the mantra of we don't just want our students from Saddlebrook to be competitive with others, we want them to be at an advantage because they've graduated from Saddlebrook High School and gone through our schools. And this is really a step in the right direction in making sure that our students are at an advantage and are in a better place because they've gone to school here. So, I appreciate the work that you've done and the whole staff. And we really, as I said earlier, it was really, as a team, that we are absolutely on the right course and putting our kids at an advantage, having them graduate with a vision, a plan for their future, and the knowledge and skills to be able to carry out that plan. And again, that's one of those phrases we've been repeating over and over again. So, thank you for getting us on that path.
Thank you.
Moving into the agenda items, student services, call for a motion for items 1 through 5. So moved.
Second?
All in favor? Roll call, I'm sorry. First, any discussion?
There's nothing new for Monday night other than the HIB case, which we discussed in closed session.
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Mrs. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Buffy?
Yes.
Mr. Havison?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Ms. Sanchez?
Yes.
Mrs. Scarnapieco?
Yes.
Mrs. Zottarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
Okay, we have nothing in B this month. Section C, business and board, motion for all items 1 through 6.
Second?
Any discussion?
We discussed all these items on Monday night. Mr. Quinn had a question regarding Coral Day, coincidentally, and our course was here, but Coral Day is at William Patterson University.
Thank you.
Okay. For number 3, and we discussed this also on Monday, we went out for a request for proposals. We received proposals from 4 different insurance brokers. We interviewed those 4. Mr. Quinn was a part of all of those. Mr. Garrett was able to make 2 out of those 4. And based on the criteria and the service and the cost, the Brown & Brown was absolutely the best of the 4 who submitted proposals on our request. School calendar, we reviewed all those highlights on Monday also. We will, should the calendar be approved tonight in its form, we will get that out tomorrow to our staff and to our parents so that people can make any plans a year in advance. And everything else is just the same.
Any discussion? Roll. Roll.
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Mrs. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Buffy?
Yes.
Mr. Havison?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Ms. Sanchez?
Yes.
Mrs. Scarnapieco?
Yes.
Mrs. Zottarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
Personnel is the next section. Can group all these together as well. Motion for items 1 through 12.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Item 1, Carla Sacchi was a high school math teacher who resigned her position. We're currently in the process of conducting that search, and hopefully we'll have somebody to fill that spot very shortly. Anna Rita Falco, number 2, is replacing Barbara Barba, who retired on December 31st as the reading specialist at Franklin School. Items 4 and 5 are two of our custodial, well, 4 is a maintenance position, 5 is a custodial position. We still do have one other vacancy. There were 3 people who left the district in custodial maintenance. This fills 2 of those roles. 4, Christian Jurgensen was approved in September to start. He was with a different employer, and he is now available to start at this time. And I think that is all. Unless there's any other questions on any other items?
Mr. Arcomando?
Yes.
Mrs. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Buffy?
Yes.
Mr. Havison?
Yes, abstaining from E number 9.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Ms. Sanchez?
Yes.
Mrs. Scannapieco?
Yes.
Mrs. Otterelli?
Yes.
Mr. Girick?
Yes. Any committee reports?
Obviously, our committees haven't met yet, but I would like to throw out another date for the curriculum committee to meet, if January 29th at 5 p.m. So if you can check that and we can see if we can meet them. I know the first date we tried didn't work.
I'm good. 5?
5 o'clock on January 29th. That's a Thursday. We have to schedule some other meetings, but this is the one that had the largest waiting agenda. So the others we can just schedule it through email with our committee chairs.
Any correspondence?
Nothing new from Monday night. We had that one letter on Monday. I gave an extensive district goals update Monday, so nothing additional.
Okay. Old business?
No, nothing additional from Monday.
Any new business?
Through the chair, do we want to discuss setting up workshops for the spring going into summer?
Okay, yes. Nancy's out here. Do you have any there, or do we need additional
I don't have
schedules? Okay.
And then I'll take over.
Well, those are getting passed out. There's a possible just list idea to start with. Our board rep is available February 11th. Ray has had him pencil that date in to do a training. Our thinking is doing the ethics training, which is one I think we do every year. At least they've done every year since I've been here. It's a good beginning for all the new board members, and it's a great refresher course for all of the existing board members. There's 2 last year. For people that don't know, we did get board certified through the number of courses we had taken. One of the things we want to do, it took 2 years to accomplish that goal. And the hope is to just continue the training so that we will always have board certification, and it's not a push to get an extra X number in. There's 2 of them, major ones, that we tried to get in last year that we didn't. That's board's role in budget and board's role in finance. Seeing that from now through the end of March, April is really the major push for the budgeting. The idea is kind of get those in as early as we can, and then do one each month going forward. There is a possibility of doing a couple of courses that lead to an individual board certificate, individual board member certification, that our representative said he could schedule in for us. If anybody has questions about that, you can ask me after the meeting, or if you really want, I can continue talking. And then we always do, towards the end of the year, the superintendent evaluation process workshop and the board's goals workshops. Especially the superintendent one might have to be moved up to April or May. I'm not sure on the timing of that, but that's kind of what we're looking at if the board likes that idea.
Maybe February 11th after the board meeting, we can meet with Al
And
and do that, if everybody's available, February 11th after the board meeting on Wednesday for training on ethics training. Okay, maybe we could set that up with Al to do our training on February 11th.
For new board members that may not know, these courses usually last anywhere from like a half hour to an hour and a half. We try and get as many of them in either before or after a regular board meeting. There might be a couple of them, especially the individual board certificate courses that might last a little longer. We may need to do one or two scheduled board meeting days to fit those in. We did a couple of those last year as well.
Thank you, Mr. Quinn. Okay,
No, just so to continue on a time frame, so we'll, I mean, Wednesday's meeting, we're at 8 o'clock right now. Last year we started about 8:15, so if the board is good with that, it takes a good 45 minutes to an hour based on, you know, questions. So we'll do that on the 11th.
okay, very good. I need a motion to open the meeting back to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anyone wish to be heard?
You didn't leave the page before, I'm sorry, because you can just pass it around. All right, here we go again. Omar Rodriguez, 275 Madison Avenue. The swearing-in, I was here, and I'll just make a comment. The superintendent said that his contract is approved and reviewed by the county. And again, that is just formalism, if you want to call it, for lack of better terms. Basically, you guys decide what goes into that contract. The reason I'm here is because I would like to see more money invested on the children instead of administration. And for me, on my books, I don't see it proper that over or close to $500,000 among two people is costing the taxpayers of Southbrook when actually the ranking, we're not in the ranking, we're in the top of the ranking, statewide. So something needs to be changed, and I hope, and for the betterment of every resident in the town, I hope, and I cross my fingers and everything will be better in the near future, but we want to see the results. We just don't want to have the talk, but actually we need to see the results. Without further ado, I would just like to go into a few items. Why did I say there is a lot of waste and abuse on the spending? I would like to start with this. I know that sometimes my way of talking, I guess, is too hard, but I'd rather just be straightforward instead of just trying to play with the semantic. I would like to ask the chair, if I can, do we pay any travel time of any employee or professional?
I could ask Mr. Karati, do we pay for professional travel time?
Professional travel time?
Yes. No, any professional, any employee for travel time to come here to the school district, or if they cannot arrive in time, if we pay someone else to cover for that time period, if someone is not, let's say that someone lives in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Connecticut, and they have to come here, they cannot arrive in time. Do we pay someone else to cover for that time period?
A staff member is required to, you know, show up for work. That time is not, no matter where they come from. If they attend workshops and travel within the district, that time is reimbursed, that travel time, the mileage.
It is reimbursed? To come to work?
No, I said not to come to work. The normal travel to work, to and from work, is not reimbursed.
All right, that brings me to my next subject. I was going to ask you that, I'm going to tell you about in a bit, is that I have another question. Do we pay for cell phones? Through the chair?
I'm not familiar, Mr. Rodriguez, I don't know for sure.
You may ask, are you the
We pay for cell
administrator?
phones.
Through the chair?
Yes.
Do we pay for cell phones? Okay. So the only question that I have for that, it's not even a question, it's a comment. I'm going to Oprah the phone records to the chair. You can ask the attorney. Once the district pays for any cell phone, the records cannot be redacted. Those are public records. They can challenge me in court all they want, but I'm able, as a taxpayer, to review them and to decide what to do with those phone records. But those gotta be public records now. The taxpayers are paying for those cell phones. I believe that nowadays, with the amount of money that some of these people are making, the taxpayers should not, actually let's change the word, must not pay for cell phones. Everybody should pay their own. That's what you work, and that's what you have to spend your money. It is my money. Maybe you got a different money, but I will be open. I will do an open on all those phone records and through the chair, through the attorney. I will challenge that if they redact any numbers. I want to see at what time did they use, what time did they make private calls. I want to see everything.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
I don't understand where you're going with this. I really
Where
don't.
I'm going with this, that the school district shouldn't be paying for personal cell phones.
Yeah, but last meeting, it was a lot of other things as far as contracts and so forth, and I'm just wondering, all of a sudden for you to.
It's because it's within the contract. I'm reading, the more I read the contract, that's what it specifies. And I'm in trouble with that. And that's what I'm here, to try to make a point. And the school district, especially the taxpayers, should not be paying for those cell phones. And then again, I will be over all single cell phones that are being paid by taxpayers. And I actually can open right now in public, I think, on record, so I would like to open those and I will pay for those records. The last 2 months, please.
You could come in and fill out the form.
Okay, I will do that. Mr. Karate, I was also looking at your contract, if you may, I know that you cannot discuss personal, but this is public records again. Through the chair, if I may, because all this will take me to a point. Other than your salary, Mr. Karate, through the chair, do you receive any other stipend?
You have it all there in the contract.
No, I'm just saying.
It's all spelled out in the contract. I gave it to you.
I have the contract, I'm just asking.
I don't receive any other stipends.
Nick, that's what I want. All right. The reason I'm just curious, and I just will point it out specifically to the contracts. Right now, the economy is not good, but still we're giving away the house. How come someone can explain to me a salary of $102,000 jump in less than 8 years, it jumped to $134,000? Who nowadays in administration get holidays? Some of them are okay, but the day after Thanksgiving, the day after Easter, President, this, Martin Luther King, all the holidays.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
all of the contracts are agreed upon by the board and the employee, or the union. Every single contract is agreed upon
Mr.
by this
President,
board.
Mr. President, you're wrong. This is administration. The union don't see this. You, the board, are the one, the board.
We agreed to these contracts, correct.
That's what I'm trying
And this
to.
board, many of who may have been on, may not have been on when those contracts were negotiated, agreed to that. There are people in the audience that were on the board at that time when these contracts were agreed to.
Whether they were not or not, what I'm trying to point that out.
And they were voted in by the public. Every single person that you see here that was previously on the board, or that are on the board here now, are voted in by the public to make decisions on the public's behalf for the betterment of the district. And that's what we've done. And I stand by all of my votes for the last year that I've been here. I'm very pleased with what Mr. Katz is doing, Dr. Katz is doing, as well as Mr. Karate. And I support them 100%. Yes, I am.
All right. What maybe you missed the point right here, and that's what I want to bring it up. The reason I'm saying this is because the contract, whether you vote or not, I'm not going to argue with you whether it was in the best interest of the town or not. I think that was poorly done, very poor, because no one, when it's on a trial basis, you give a 5-year contract. And I pass around just to give you an example for you and everybody else to review in the future, not to make the same mistake. Because maybe he might be the right person, What about if you're stuck with a part person that is not doing the job? Why to give it 5 years? A trial basis is not 5 years.
That was what the board agreed to at that time.
Well, then-
Some of
then
us
I-
were here, some of us weren't. That's your opinion?
That's what I'm trying to.
I think we made a great choice.
Listen, that
I
might
agree.
be your opinion, and I might have to agree with you, all right? But then again, the contract properly itself, I'm not discussing the person, I'm discussing the terms of the contract. The terms of the contract, how it's reviewed, how it's being written, I believe that it should be more proactive into the taxpayers, not into the employment. Let me finish, because right now, I just have the floor, and I don't just wanna go back. In the contract itself, if you are gonna tell me that that's the best what the district can have, I don't know if in the private sector, anyone can offer that type of money. But it calls for a 15% merit increase. But it doesn't say nothing about what about if the person doesn't perform. And again, I'm not talking of single Mr. Katz right now. It's about the contract that it could be him, it could be Joe Doe, it could be anybody. It goes for a 15%. That 15% right now equals to $23,000. So the base salary is not the base salary. All right? Right now it's easy to spend taxpayers' money, but in the private sector, no one will get that money. 25 vacation days, that equals to 5 weeks. 25 sick days, so are you pushing the person to get sick? 25 who give 25 sick days equals 5 weeks. So on my books, I don't care what you think. On my books, that is wrong. Then again, for a new contract, when it needs to be done, no matter who it is, and I hope that Mr. Katz is still here, and at one point he will get the tenure, fine. But the contract itself has to work in our behalf, not to our benefit. Also, it's not just to one person's benefit. Then we got 3 personal days, then we have 16 days of holiday. At the end of the day, with pension and benefits, just one single person will be costing us, just one single person, $235,000. If that's what you think that is worth it, beat it. But then I want to see the results. I want to see the results every year. I hope that we can start moving up.
That's what we're all here to do. We're all here for results and positive results. Yes.
Now, on the attorney, I spoke to the business administrator because on the paperwork that I have, there were 2 different things. And the reason why I asked about the travel time is because the attorney have 2 different kind of, not contracts, but it was one thing right here, and the contract itself for Ms. Machado, the board attorney, he read a different thing. He was explaining to me that for the caucus meeting, the attorney got paid $647. Only this one I'm talking from the top of my head. $647 per meeting of attendance. And whenever she's requested, like tonight, to come over here, it's $140 an hour, and for any other type of work, it's $140 an hour. The attorney office is based in Clark, it's in Clark, New Jersey. It's 45 minutes away from here. So that was my question. If when the billing practice comes, and we have the attorney on Wednesdays, like today, which amount do we pay? The $647 or the $140 an hour? So I was told that it's the $140 an hour every Wednesday. So that's what I come with a question about the travel time. If you just include the hour that the person is sitting right here, or it runs from the moment that the attorney leaves her office or whatever to come over here and leave. That was the reason of the question. I might be open. I would like to open that because it was kind of it was not clear. The question, according to the paperwork that I have in my power or my hands, is 2 different contracts. And finally, I just would like to say, at least for tonight, and this will be the only time that I take too much time because I got so much that from 2 prior meetings, I got so much in one. Usually I'm gonna just take 3-4 minutes or 3 minutes. But on this one, I got so many things right now in Dos Point. At the rate that we have right now, on one of the administrators, from 102,000, jumping to $134,000 in less than 8 years. So it means that in the next 8 years, that person's gonna be making $200,000. Is that what taxpayers are looking for? That's just base salary. But when you start adding benefits, pension, vacation, sick time, and everything, is one person worth it $300,000? So that's what I just want you to start thinking a little more into the weight of the taxpayer, because it's easy right there to just spend the money sometimes when it's not your money, it's the taxpayers' money, and you're right, the people elected, and now we're gonna have just to start explaining out, I guess, who actually is doing the right thing and who is just not questioning enough. Because that is our job, I guess, as taxpayers, no more to say you're a status quo, yes sir, no ma'am. No. Now is the time to just look at how this board is spending. Some of you are doing a wonderful job and stuff like that, but when it comes to money, I hope that everyone is questioning every single cent, because the economy is not good. So many homes in town for foreclosure, or in foreclosure, so many people leaving because they can't afford the taxes. And if the school is not doing good, every homeowner is suffering. So, and I hope, and I'm with you, and anything that I can do in the next year or so, that we can see some more improvement in the school district. But then again, you guys gotta question more when it comes to money. Thank you all for listening.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes, sir.
I would love to invite you in to meet with me to look at the 12-13 budget, the 13-14 budget, and compare it to this year's 14-15 budget, so you can see money going into the classroom.
You can talk.
You let me know when you're available.
Anytime. Thank you very much for the.
And I would like to just let you know that the evaluation document is not a public record. It would be exempt from disclosure under a personnel exemption.
Great, that's what I need to know. So then again, based on, and I'm sorry that I take one extra second, I'm sorry, based on the comments of the attorney for tonight, I know that she's not the sitting attorney, she's filling in, but thank you very much for your information. So based on that, so it's gonna be on you guys, whenever you do that evaluation, if you have certain points, I know you will do the best. But then again, it will stay on you guys, but then we, the residents, whether for good or bad, we, the residents and taxpayers, the only thing that we have is just to see the ranking, unfortunately. And I hope, and I wish Mr. Katz all the best to improve the school district. Maybe he's still the guy. It's too soon to judge him. It's just a year and a half, I believe, that he's been sitting here. All I'm judging right now, all I'm questioning right now, on my books, I believe that it should be first 3 years, he's doing great, then give it another contract for 3 or 5 years. Or just give it a tenure, whatever it is. But 5 years on the first term basis, I believe it's still. That's just my opinion. Thank you all again.
Thank you.
Jennifer Lee, 400 B South River Road. I wasn't planning to speak tonight, but I just want to say that the last year and a half in this district has been amazing. I have a daughter in 6th grade, and I have a daughter who is in the first full-day kindergarten program that I'm very thankful we have started. And the change, and I've also been on the PTO board at Smith for several years as well. The leap years, I've been asking for documents, and I'm a teacher as well, I'm a curriculum developer at my school. I've been asking for documents since my daughter was in 1st grade and entered the district that didn't exist. All of a sudden, I'm hearing pacing notes. I see Writers Workshop training. Things that the rest of the world has been doing, so you guys are moving in the right direction. The change is happening, and it's already being noticed in our students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mary Louise Ellen, 152 Claremont Avenue. I had the pleasure of serving on the board and serving this district for over 6 years. I stand by every one of my votes. I stand by every one of my contract negotiations, and with all the board members who stood with me at that time. And I support each and every one of you up there with everything you're doing going forward, because it's not hard. You know, it's not hard to do the right thing. And everyone I know up there wants to do the right thing. I know that intelligent people realize that change does not occur overnight. You need to find the right people, secure the right people,
You need to implement positive change, and then you will see the results. In the past year and a half, we have been seeing these results. And we will continue to see the results because we have the right leaders in place, the right administration in place, the right curriculum going in the right direction, and we have fine board members elected by the people who speak on the people's behalf. If they are not the right board members, they will not be voted anywhere. It's similar to council. Some wrong decisions were made, but some right decisions were corrected. We have over 1,700 children in this district. They have one parent, they have two parents. I don't see parents coming here screaming. I don't see people with the masses complaining. All I see is positive. You're doing one hell of a job. Keep it up, and I'll be here to support you each way.
Thank you very much. Does anyone else wish to be heard? We have a motion. Ooh, sorry.
Good evening, Robert White, 595 Maple Avenue. I want to thank Mr. Rodriguez for looking out after the taxman. I just very simply want to say really one thing. And Mr. Rodriguez, all the salaries that you were referring to, really, if you look at all the districts, they're pretty much in line. They really are. And Dr. Katz's salary is capped by the state. Governor Christie did that. He was into the prison. And as far as the merit pay, that's all standard. And it's up to the board to evaluate him and his performance. And the merit goals that he gets evaluated on have to be looked at and reviewed by the county. And they have to give permission to say that these are valid. And again, they're reviewed by the board, and if he achieves that, he gets that pay. So it's all pretty much mandated by the state what his salary can be. So that's all I wanted to say. But I think if you look and you're good at looking around at different jurisdictions, we are aligned with that. Some make more than Dr. Katz does and Mr. Clark. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? We have a motion to close the meeting to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting for tonight?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Have a good evening.